is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
Finally, the countdown to California is over. For years, stock car fans in the West have shared a dream that someday a high-speed oval would be built to host the NASCAR stars. Their dream became one man's mission, and it took less than 4 years from concept to completion. Today, Roger Penske should be justifiably proud because we're about to witness the unveiling of one of motorsport's marvels, a meticulously engineered speed palace that should allow side-by-side racing at close to 200 miles per hour. Southern California, long known for sand and surf, today serves up pistons and pavement as the NASCAR Winston West boys enjoy their day in the sun. ABC Sports brings you live coverage of the inaugural event from the beautifully manicured California Speedway. It's the NASCAR Winston West Auto Club 200. Under sun-drenched skies, we are here in Southern California, and race fans await the historic words as NASCAR has come back.
Start your engines.
Many of the aspiring young drivers set to compete today, this race isn't the Auto Club 200. In their minds, it's really the Opportunity 200.
Those opportunities come for drivers like David Green of Winston Cup fame. He is on the pole for today's race. Why is Green and the man behind him, Kenny Schrader, running in this Winston West race? Well, how about 200 miles of race competition? They'll be able to find out just how their tires and the cars will perform because these cars are so similar. Then you talk about opportunity for Vancouver, British Columbia's Gary Smith, a Winston West regular, two-time winner, and most recent win coming at Las Vegas, Nevada. This 29-year-old knows fairly well that there are Winston Cup owners and drivers watching this race. He hopes to show that his opportunity is well-deserved, and hopefully his finish will put him in a new direction for his career.
Butch Gilliland has certainly made the most of opportunity and smart management. He took the money he won driving smaller cars on shorter tracks and moved to the Winston West Series. That was 9 years ago. Now in 1997, he leads the points. In the first 6 races, he has 2 wins, and today he starts 6. Starting next to him is Sean Woodside. A year ago, he was racing and winning in late model cars, waiting for his big break. His opportunity came when the team that won the championship last season needed a new driver. Woodside is making the most of his opportunity. 2 seconds and 4 top 5s in 6 races. Today, he hopes opportunity leads to victory lane. Then there's 50-year-old Kenny Smith. Opportunity came knocking for him in 1994. When Kenny answered, he'd won a little money in the California lottery. Actually, he won $22 million and uses some of that money to go racing. It's a limited schedule, but he brings unlimited enthusiasm. He knows you have to be lucky to win the lottery, and that also helps when you go racing.
Welcome to the California Speedway. You know, folks, I was never very good at starting out with racetracks. I was good at putting racetracks out of business. I won the last race at Ontario in 1980, the last race at Texas World Speedway 1981. But here's a guy that turned some heads when he won his very first race in 1979, Daytona. Kyle, if one of these guys today, a Winston West driver, were to win this 200-mile, could he turn some heads over in that Winston Cup garage area?
I tell you what, you know, I was fortunate. I only had to impress Richard Petty and Linda Petty. They were my car owners, you know what I mean? But one of these deals, if these guys can come in here and do it on an oval and win this race, they're going to turn a lot of heads. And let me tell you something, there's a lot of guys looking for the next Derek Cole or Chad Little to come out of this series.
You know, since the inception of 44 years ago, this series has served as a stepping stone in the NASCAR's major leagues, the Winston Cup, and rightfully so. These cars you're going to see today are not that much different than the Pontiacs, Fords, and Chevrolets you see Earnhardt, Waltrip, and Wallace drive on a Sunday afternoon. The cars very, very similar, and that's why you're seeing names like Kenny Schrader and David Green, Winston Cup regulars, run this race. This 200 miles today will be a chance to go to school for tomorrow's $2 million 500-miler. Let's go back to the pits and check in once again now with Jack Arute.
Well, Jerry, Kenny Schrader is making his 5th start in Winston West competition. He's already captured 3 poles and 3 wins. Bakersfield, 4 Portland in the 1996 Vegas event. But Schrader had hoped to make it 4 poles, but a tire going flat during his one-lap qualifying run knocked him back to the second row. That resulted in a lot of ribbing from his Winston Cup counterparts, saying, hey, Schrader, you've got to be able to win and run fast if you're going to run with the Winston West regulars. But Schrader and his team have brought this car that they ran in the Winston Open in Charlotte, saying we need a mule, a test bed, to be able to get as much information as possible. That's what Schrader has done. He's ready to give it a 200-mile test.
On the field, rolling off, you are seeing history being made as NASCAR has come back to the sunny skies of Southern California. When we come back, the starting lineup and the green flag from Fontana.
ABC Sports coverage of the Auto Club 200. Brought to you by Pepsi, who invites you to join Generation Next. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. The more than 1,600 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And Old Milwaukee, America's best tasting beer.
Back at Fontana, California, getting set for the start of the Auto Club 200. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. Now, the pole sitter is on the right side of your screen. The way they would come out of turn 4 right toward you. David Green, 38 years of age, former Busch Series national champion. Yeah, he takes his Chevrolet to the inside of row 1. And Gary Smith, a rookie, an impressive rookie. His father, a 3-time Winston West Series champion. Row 2, there's the veteran Kenny Schrader from NASCAR Winston Cup ranks. You heard Jack Arute say he's going to school today for this 200-miler. And a 9-year veteran of Winston West competition, Larry Gunzelman. Row 3, rookie, 26 years of age, Sean Woodside. A year ago, he was driving 1/3 mile oval. Today, a 2-miler at high speeds. And beside him, a veteran, Butch Gilliland on the Winston West ranks. His Ford starts outside of row 3. Rich Woodland Jr. inside row 4 alongside John Kender. They start in 7th and 8th spots respectively. Back in row 5, Ron Esau. He won the last time the Winston West cars raced at Riverside back in 1988. He'd like to be able to win the inaugural return for NASCAR today. And beside him, Scott Gaylord, a veteran of the series. Kenny Smith, the man who won the lottery, decided to go racing full-time, and he is flanked by Craig Rayburn in a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. That is row 6.
Back in row 7, up from Portland, Oregon, Dan Oberst and L.J. Fryer. Back in row 8 this afternoon, Kevin Culver and Billy Kahn out of Phoenix. In row 9, Ron Peterson from San Bernardino, just a couple of miles down the road, and Bill McAnally. Row 10, David Gilliland in his dad's backup car, and St. James Davis. Some provisionals, Lance Wade, Bruce Bechtel, Jeff Davis, Darrell Krenz, and also Mike Wallace in the Spam car, the Winston Cup car. Failed to qualify for the California 500 tomorrow, decided to come over here and race this afternoon.
There's a look at Mike Wallace back at the back of the pack. We'll have some in-car cameras today, Benny Parsons.
This is Jeff Davis, the Ultra Shield Prolong on board. Now we'll go up to the 16 car, Bill McAnally, the NAPA sponsored automobile, and we'll go on forward to the 38 car, Butch Gilliland. And that is sponsored by the Auto Club of Southern California.
Well, NASCAR has come back to Southern California. Sunshine, sand, surf, and what you're about to see is speed. Pistons, power, and pavement. As the green flag waves in the Auto Club 200.
Taking Mike Wallace along to work his way to the front, the 91 car. There he comes. About to take over the Peterson car, number 78.
That's Ron Peterson. These cars running the very bottom of the racetrack, but they hug the inside as opposed to saw at Michigan a week ago. And up front, Schrader making a move.
I tell you what, Kenny was the guy. Oh, here they are, 3 abreast already. Kenny when he took the start there, he went right down to the bottom of the racetrack. He was too wide on the first lap.
Oh, we got a crash up in turn. And Kenny Smith, he done spent some of the lottery money.
Well, caution being shown for the first time today. Heavy impact. Folks, these laps here at over almost 180 miles an hour in the Winston West competition, and that's Kenny Smith's Chevrolet, 50 years of age, the Quick Pick Motorsports Chevy.
And we see the water running across the radiator, across the racetrack where he's broken the radiator. Leader Gary Smith has taken the caution flag. They'll be going behind the pace car.
See if we can see what happened to Kenny Smith over there in turn 1.
He goes down in the corner. We see him. Kyle, it looked like that the 42 car backed off a little bit, and Kenny had to jump out of the gas or hit the brakes to avoid the 42 car goes up and hits the wall.
Yeah, he was right there behind him, and as the car kind of calmed down, it looks like the car in front of him came down on him, and he checks up just a little bit. It jumps out from under him, and that's it. He hit a ton, too, believe me. This is one of those places where we are running on the bottom of the racetrack, and when the car takes off on you, it goes straight up to the wall. So at 180 miles an hour, it moves up about 4 or 5 lanes.
We saw Kenny wave to someone back there just a moment ago.
Got a glimpse of George Preston and some of his crew. Now, he has taken the window net down, and that is a signal. They tell the drivers in the drivers meeting that if you are okay, please let our safety crews know by taking the window net down, and they will get across to you and address the car as far as any safety things around the car, which could include fire. First caution of the day brought out here in the early laps. Back with more from California Speedway in a moment. Live at California Speedway here in Fontana, California, under caution early on due to an incident up in turn 1. That's the car number 43 of Kenny Smith, or what's left of it. We're going to show you what happened here again.
We see Kenny Smith going down in the corner. He is following. That's the 12 car. I called it the 22 mistakenly. That is the 12 car of Dan Overs and the 21 car of John Kinder. And there, the 21 car comes down the hill in front of the 12. The 12 car has to back up to avoid hitting. When he does, Kenny Smith says, whoops, I'm going to run in the back of these cars. He thought they were going to make contact. When he backed off to avoid those 2 cars, he simply lost control. Kyle, here you have to be really smooth with that throttle going off and on. You can spin yourself out by backing off the throttle too quickly.
You have to be incredibly smooth here because the racetrack's so smooth, and it dictates it. We go in the corners, as you saw the 12 car, the 21 car, the orange car go in the corner way wide. He goes way high. The entrance to the corner is way out. You sweep back across the corner. It didn't look like that those guys being that close would have upset the 43 car. But what it does, when you think somebody's going to hit, you react, and you jump out of the gas, and when you jump out of the gas here, it gets out from under you.
All right, in the early laps here at California Speedway, historic weekend. These beautiful aerial shots courtesy of the fine folks from Pennzoil in our Pennzoil Copter Cab. Just setting the stage for a serious weekend as NASCAR has come west, and tomorrow our live coverage of the California 500 presented by Napa starts at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 Pacific. Joe Nemechek on the pole for his first ever start inside of row 1. What an exciting show that should be. 2 and 3 abreast. We'll come back with more exciting West Coast action, NASCAR style from right here in California in just a moment.